Hello, welcome back to RealVacantLand.com. This is Luke Smith, and I was having a conversation today with a friend. We've done some land deals in the past, and haven't talked to him in a while, and catching up on different deals. We were talking about commercial real estate, and he asked, "Who is doing ground leases?" And I said, "Yeah, that's a really good question. He wanted to know how we could figure out who's doing ground leases on commercial real estate." And I said I gave him some examples and things, but before we jump into it, let's talk about what a ground lease is. So a ground lease in commercial real estate. Let's give an example. Let's say I bought some land. Let's say it's in the middle of town. And we got the main street coming this way and the highway coming that way, and they cross right in front of my property. And I got a nice big flat chunk of land on the busiest street corner in town. And I'm going to own that thing because I know it's going to be worth something someday to somebody. And then McDonald's comes along and McDonald's says, "Luke, I'd like to build a McDonald's on that property. I'd like to buy it from you and build a McDonald's." And I said, "Yeah, but I watched that video once upon a time. That McDonald's makes all their money off of owning the real estate. And I'd like to be that guy that owns the real estate, right? And so why don't I just lease it to you?" And McDonald's says, "Okay, you got the busiest street corner in town. I'll lease it from you." And so they do a ground lease. We do a ground lease, and I lease the ground to them because I don't want to build anything, and they're willing to build everything. So McDonald's builds the building, and they do the foundation, and they do the utilities, and they do the entrance and the driveway and the trees, the landscaping. They hire employees. They stock the shelves. They make burgers. They sell the burgers. They make fries. They sell fries and everything else, and then they pay rent back to me for using the land. And that's great because McDonald's has an awesome credit rating, and I know they're going to pay. When they say they're going to pay, I know they're going to pay. And that contract, that paperwork, that ownership, I could sell really easily on the market. It's like a bond. It's backed by McDonald's cash flow that goes out for the rest of forever. It might be 15 years or 20 or 25, 30 years. It might be a long time that they're going to pay. And then if they leave, if they disappear along the way somewhere, I still have the land. And I could put a new tenant in there, to keep the building. Like, heck, yeah, why not, right? So how do we find other companies and who is doing ground leases and when, where, what kind of numbers, why? How do we look them up? So here's my answer. I told him to go to Crexy.com. So Crexy.com is a great website, lots of data. I'm a data guy. I love doing work in data, learning and studying, and because I have an idea what something is, and I go study the data, and it's like, man, it's different than what I thought. But when I learn the way it is, I can bob and weave accordingly and hone in my sales pitches and my deals and my prices and things. So Crexy.com, lots of data. So I told him to look up Seven Brew because I know they're doing ground leases, right? Seven Brews is coffee shop. If you guys don't know what Seven Brew is, here's an example. There's a bunch of examples on here. It's this little building. It's a drive-through coffee shop. They're growing like crazy. You can put them on all kinds of properties, high traffic retail properties. They want you to fix up the property. So my example of the McDonald's isn't exactly true on these ones. They want me to do the utilities and the foundation and the blacktop and stuff like that. So then they'll come deliver the building. They put the building on there, and they sell coffee, and they pay rent for the rest of forever. I pulled up like all the Seven Brews in the marketplace, and I started looking at their statistics. And went through them, and I've been studying them, and like it seems like on average they're paying about $125,000 a year in rent. Like that'd be neat, right? I would love to get a piece of property. I could put a Seven Brew on. Maybe I spend a couple $100,000 for the piece of property. It's in the right location, the right statistics, the right data. And then I get Seven Brew to come do it. And then these ones are selling near $2 million, and the prices are all over the place. Some of them are $2.5 million, one over here for 1.3. And, you can get an idea of what to pay for the property, something below that. If you can put a Seven Brew on it and sell it at these kinds of prices when you do the lease, do a ground lease with them. So what other companies are doing it? I said, okay, so start there and then filter some stuff. So Crexy has a filter, and you can do it in all kinds of different things. But I told them to do QSRs because I'm a statistics guy, and there's lots of QSRs, and we can do it across lots of different names instead of finding a property that only fits a Walmart or something, which would be awesome if you pulled it off. But if you find a property that fits a QSR, you could sell it to like 100 different names or 200 different names or more. And it's a lot easier to pull off. So maybe start there and then go to Walmarts later. So QSR, and then down here under lease type, there's a bunch of different leases, and one of them you can choose is ground. So you can filter in Crexy to get to who is doing QSRs in ground lease QSRs. So I do that, and it says there's 10 because I still got my 7 Brew in there. But if we just get rid of the name 7 Brew, we just look at who else is out there. One of the first, so this is sorted by most popular results, I think. There's a 7 Brew right on the top of the top. There's also White Castle. It's not a ground lease. Those guys, I talked to those guys. They said it's under contract like 5 times over. I don't know why it still shows for sale. There's Taco Bells. So a lot of these are ground lease. Somebody had the land, like this Taco Bell, and they did a ground lease. Taco Bell came in, developed the Taco Bell, and paid rent. And now at a 5 cap, they're trying to sell it for $1.5 million. Here's Sheetz, which is a gas station, and Tim Hortons. There's a Chick-fil-A. How nice would it be to do a Chick-fil-A? If you had the right property for a Chick-fil-A and you got Chick-fil-A to come in and build a Chick-fil-A on the property, and then you end up with cash flow for the rest of forever. You don't have to build a building. Like, heck yeah, that's what land is all about. You can do these kinds of things. Here's a Starbucks behind me. They're doing them. There's a McDonald's. McDonald's is doing ground leases. There's a Freddy's. Freddy's is doing them. Here's another McDonald's over here. There's a Raising Cane's. Wow, Raising Cane's is, I would so love to do a Raising Cane's. They huge average unit sales on those things. Arby's, Culver's, more Arby's, more McDonald's, more McDonald's. Jeez, there's a lot of McDonald's. I'm surprised how many McDonald's are on here. A Whataburger behind my shoulder over here is a Whataburger. That would be really fun to do too. So more Raising Cane's, Whataburger, Popeyes, Taco Bell, Wawa, more Chick-fil-A, Circle K, Jack in the Box, more Wawa, Dutch Brothers, Culver's. It's a lot of the same names. Another Whataburger, Starbucks, Dutch Brothers. There's a Burger King. Burger King's still going. That's one. There's a Panera. Panera's going for it. There's a lot of names, but that's a good way to go search and see what kind of names are doing ground leases in today's markets. And that changes over time. These are the ones that have already been done and they're up for sale, and the developers are trying to sell them off to somebody who wants the cash flow, to collect the cash flow for the rest of forever. But I'm more interested in creating more of them. And so that's what our conversation was about before, and why we're looking up who is doing ground leases, because we want to turn our properties into those kinds of properties going forward. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This is Luke Smith, ruralvacantland.com. See you in the next one. Bye.